Hello and welcome to Quirky Cat Crafts. This is Sherry, and I am getting ready to stamp out my 9 focal tiles for my hexagon bedroom box project. So this is the Sculpey Souffle French Pink, and so I've got that rolled out, and so the first stamp we're going to do is the typewriter. I tried it out on paper because it's not a very deeply etched stamp, and I'm not 100% sure how it's going to stamp on the clay, but it came out all right on the paper, so we're going to give it a go here. So just inking up my stamp. And fingers crossed, you guys, here we go. And again, I don't want to do, well, again, I haven't said it on this video, but I don't want to do too much pressure where it squishes the clay, but I want to do enough pressure that the entire image makes an impression. So, all right, let's see how this came out, you guys. Yeah, that's good. That's usable. Okay. I wasn't sure on this one, so I wanted to do it first. I had another typewriter stamp picked out in case this one didn't work, but I think it worked. So that's first one, cleaning off the stamp. These are the 3 that I'm doing for the for my desk. And I'm assuming that you guys watched my previous video. If not, go back and take a look at it, where I was kind of narrowing down what stamps I wanted to use. I ended up eliminating the candle lantern because I wasn't 100% thrilled with it, and I really wanted to use a book, so I eliminated that one. It's really hard to narrow down a project when there are so many, there's a hair, when there's so many options of your supplies that will work with the project, and you can't use every single one. I mean, you just can't. And I have a hard time narrowing it down because, like, I really liked the bird cage. There was like a 1930s car that I really liked, but because this is for my bedroom and because I kind of decided on this angle of office type supplies for my desk, nightstand type items for my nightstand box, and kind of clothing type items for the dresser, you know, I had to be realistic and go, well, birdcage doesn't really work with this project. And, you know, it's not like it won't ever get used on a future project, but I really do have a hard time narrowing it down, you guys. I spend a very large amount of time going through all my options and eliminating. So I am actually going to stamp this other one out on another piece because I want to make sure I have room to cut the tiles the way I want. So this is 1 brick worth. Oh gosh darn it, I have ink on my fingers and I just smudged up my clay, you guys. It's okay, when I run it back through the pasta machine, it'll blend it in and fold it into the middle and it won't be noticeable, but got a little bit of ink on my fingers and got to be careful about that. All right, so and now my train of thought derailed. Gosh, you guys, I am so sorry. Oh, of just being realistic and not doing too much. That was something I struggled with when I first started doing mosaics. I wanted to include every single thing that could be used on the project, and then it just created quite the mess. So something I've learned as I go, that you have to be, that less is more, I guess. So, all right. So there's my little quills with the inkwell. Oh gosh, I hope I'm in the shot. I was zoomed in. Oh, yay me. Accidental. But I actually stayed in the shot, so. All right, so I'll cut these out real quick. So I'm going to do the bottom first, because obviously you want the inkwell straight line, you know, like it's sitting straight. So I'm sorry if my head's in there. Gosh darn it. There was black clay on my blade, but it's okay. All right. There's so much I want to do on this project, but it's coming up on 3 o'clock in the morning, and I don't need to get to bed this early, but it just means I might have an earlier start tomorrow. So, oh, so it's raining here today, and when I went to go feed my yard cats, and Mama Cat is, I don't know, she's becoming very much more affectionate, very much more. Wow. So you guys watch enough of my videos, you're going to become bilingual. You're going to speak proper English, and then you're going to speak Sherry as a second language, I swear. So, she's been letting me hold her if I scruff her. So I scruff her and pick her up. And so I had her in my arms, and I was petting her. And she turned around and looked at me, and that made me nervous, because she's still prone to swiping on occasion, and so I was afraid she was gonna kind of swipe at my face. Boy, this looks crooked. I gotta figure out where it's crooked. And so she's just looking at me, and I'm like, well, what? And then she just ducked her head down and thunked the top of her head right against my mouth. So that was a first. She gave me kitty kisses, I guess you could call it. So I was like, oh, so sweet. And then last summer, I was working on trying to find homes for a pair of brothers named Tigger and Smokey. And I never could find anywhere for them to go. The shelters are all full. And so they would have just been euthanized. So I figured they had a better shot on the yard. But Smokey got ran off by another cat, and that was the last time I ever saw him. And he never came back, which is heartbreaking. And then Tigger stuck around for a while after that, and these were both ones I could pick up and pet, so that's why I was trying to, you know, find a home for them. But, and then, I don't know, it's been a couple of months since I saw Tigger, and I have a hard time with that. I feel like I failed them, you know. I mean, obviously you can't save them all, but I try. And yesterday morning, I was feeding the cats, and he just showed up. And haven't seen him in a couple of months, so that was a nice little surprise. So I don't know how long he'll stick around, but it was good to see him. So anyway, and I'm thinking about creating some mosaics to take into my work and see if I can sell them to come up with money to get Mama Cat spayed. because I can't afford to take care of it on my own, so thought I might try that. I might have to restamp this. We're going to see. There's some kind of little something there. You know, because, you know, yet again today, not a regular day's pay. And it will not be a full paycheck. I don't know, you guys. I might have to restamp this. That's going to bug me. I don't know. It's like there's a little piece of white clay in there. Still there. Sorry, I know my head's probably in here. Sometimes you can fix it, sometimes not. And I don't, that's going to bug me. Yeah, that's not fixable. All right, so we're going to cut off as much of the clay as we can. I should have looked better before I stamped. It might have been stuck to the stamp. Might be a little piece of paper towel or something that was stuck to the stamp. So sometimes I try to just scrape the ink off and save the underneath clay, but I don't know. Yeah. Nope, not even gonna mess with it. So, goodbye. All right, so let's redo the book. I think we're just gonna run all this through the pasta machine again. Get a good fresh sheet. Anyway, it's just been a weird winter, you guys, in regards to truck driving. I mean, usually we're canceled because of, you know, snow or ice or, you know, poor road conditions. But this year it's been wind that's been our primary reason for not being able to work. Because wind is actually the biggest risk because you can't see it. And if you've ever been driving down the road and see a semi laid on its side in the ditch, it's not necessarily wind, but it could be, because that's the result. If the wind gets you just right, it tips you right over. So, and I don't want to tip over, because I'm pretty sure it would hurt. And I don't want to hurt. So, although tonight it wasn't wind on my end, it was wind on Indianapolis's end. And the other thing that comes into play is the weight of the load. Because, you know, obviously if you have a really heavy load, the wind's not going to affect you as much. But the load that he had to bring was like a 9,000 pound load. And the maximum you can put in the trailer is like 42,000 pounds. So a 9,000 pound load is pretty much, you might as well not have a load at all. So anyway, little truck driving trivia for you guys. Or not necessarily trivia, I guess, but knowledge. Yeah, there's paper towel bits stuck in the stamp. That's what it was. Okay. All right, let's try this again. There we go. And since I've re-rolled this, we're going to go ahead and do a couple more stamps on it before I start cutting out Now that I messed up on the book, I might have to get another brick. We'll see. So, all right, let's see. This is another one I need to test on paper. The corset. I lied. We're going to go ahead and cut this one out. Anyway. Still not 100% sure of what color I'm going to paint the boxes. I was thinking gold, but now I'm leaning towards white. Because really the only part that's going to be visible is the inside, and you know, the idea of these boxes is to put things in them, so you're not going to really be seeing much of the inside either. So, don't know. I'll figure that out this weekend. Okay. Dagnabbit. Sorry, you guys. Here's the book. Sorry I wasn't in the shot. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to... Excuse me. We're going to test stamp the corset on a piece of paper first. Because this is very intricate details. I like how it's looking inked up. Can you guys see that? Okay, right in that little area there. And I could tell that it wasn't inking properly. It's like a sticky or something in that area, so we'll give it a... I've never used this stamp before. I should have wiped it down first, because you never know what kind of residue might be on there. Okay. Let's do one more try on paper. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Alrighty. Is it going to fit on this piece of clay? No. I think I'm probably going to have to do another brick. Which is fine. That's why I have extras. And also why I buy in bulk with the clay. Because it's not like at 2 o'clock in the morning I can run to the craft store if I need more stuff. So, and also because, you know, I work generally, ideally, I work 70 hours a week, Monday through Friday. And so the last thing I want to do on my weekend is go to the store. So, and then thirdly, all you clay people know how expensive clay is. And so when it's on sale, I stock up. Oops, I went crooked. Oh, I had an air pocket too. I heard it pop. Anyway, so I just figured I'd get these in the oven, because what I'm going to do with when I'm laying out the mosaics for the boxes is I'm going to cut pieces of cardstock that match the dimensions of each panel, so that I can lay out multiple sides and make sure that things are balanced and things are the way I want. So that is my plan. All right, here we go. All right, corset. Here we go, you guys. Okay. I re-inked this stamp tonight, so it's very, very wet. Come on, Sherry, you know better than to do that. There's ink on the sides. Okay, here we go. Scared on this one. There's air bubbles underneath the stamp, and I'm afraid it's going to make it not stamp right, but here we go, you guys. Oh, good. Look, you guys. Yay. That makes me happy. That makes me happy. Anyway, but yeah, it's been a very weird winter here in Kansas, Missouri area. I mean, it was like 60 some degrees the other day, day before yesterday. Yeah. Ridiculous. I've got, looking for a couple of small ones. Probably gonna need to get another brick. This is the clock I picked. Okay. Little fudgy, but good enough. Good enough. Alright, let's see. Do I have room to do the cameo? No. So we're going to go ahead and cut these two out, and then I've got 4 more to do. And if I hadn't messed up on the book, I probably would have been able to do it all with the 1 brick. But now I think I'm going to have to open a second brick. So, alright. Anyway, but yeah, I can't believe we're in the 2nd week of February, and aside from right before Christmas, we had a good snow and a massive cold snap. But really, other than that, it's been a very mild winter here. And now that I've said that, it's probably gonna like snow on Easter or something, but it's been weird weather. So, I'm sorry, you guys, I gotta slide it down and make sure I'm cutting it straight, so. I'll show it to you here in a minute. I think Garfield got up on my craft table and messed up my bracket for where I mount my phone to film, because I just can't seem to get the shots that I used to get like lined up properly. So and I thought about stamping these out in gold ink, but since they're the focal tiles, I really wanted them to pop, and I like to have a kind of a pop of black on the project somewhere, so that everything's not the same kind of tones or whatever. So, alright, so are the numbers readable? Yep, there's the top of the pocket watch. That's not good. That's not good at all, you guys. I may not be able to salvage this one either, because depends on how picky I want to be. I mean, you can't even really hardly read the numbers anyway. And it's just kind of the idea of it. I'm going to cut it out the way I thought it was correct when I stamped it. And just keep it, because even though I'm incredibly OCD, I don't think it's going to bug me. Because if it was going to bug me, I would already be squishing up the clay and restamping it. So obviously it's not bugging me. And so, yeah. Oh, so let me tell you guys what happened tonight as I was driving down the highway. I went to go pick up a local load. It was about like 40 miles down the road. And as I'm driving along, there's like a white van in front of me. Like the type of van that like Amazon drives to deliver packages. That kind of van. But it didn't have any markings on it. And that driver was all over the road and kept forgetting he had a gas pedal. Like he would slow down to like 30 miles an hour on the highway. And this is in Kansas City during rush hour traffic in rain. And so, I'm sorry, I call that kind of stuff in, because I'm like, if you want to drive like an idiot, that's fine. Don't do it on my highway. That's the way I look at it. And also, I don't want to ever see on the news that an idiot driver that I didn't call in and report takes out a family in a minivan or something. So yeah, I guess I'm kind of a tattletale in regards to that. But, so initially I called 911 because I was still in Kansas City proper. And, you know, and told the 911 dispatcher what I was seeing and where I was at. And she's like, okay, you know, I'll put the call in, but I've got more 911 calls coming in. I got to let you go. And I was like, okie dokie. So, and I stayed behind the van, and just kind of tapping my brake pedal every now and then to let people behind me know, hey, we're going really slow. If he got really slow, I turned my flashers on, which then I think it let him know that I was possibly monitoring his driving. And we got 20 miles down the road out of Kansas City and hadn't heard back from police officers, but with the rain and the wet roads, I imagine they were really, really busy with accidents, because people are idiots when they drive. I see it every day. And so since we were now outside of Kansas City, I called the highway patrol line and I let her know what I was seeing and where I was at. And she asked if she could have the officer call me directly, and I was like, absolutely. Well, at that point, I was passing the exit that I needed to go pick up my load. And because I decided to stay with them as long as possible. I mean, I wasn't going to go 100 miles down the road, but I knew that there was like 5 more exits in the outer suburbs of Kansas City that I could take to get turned around to come back to pick up my load. So I stayed with him, and again, doing like 30 miles an hour, and he would cross the center line. Oh, the other thing was when I was on with the 911 dispatcher, and at one point, the van almost sideswiped me because I was getting up there close enough to get the license plate number. And not intentionally, just that's how out of it that driver was. He almost sideswiped me. And so I laid on my air horn. And the 911 dispatcher was like, oh, please don't honk at them. You might get shot. And I was like, wow. And, you know, so I said, she asked if it was a road rage incident. And I said, I don't even think he's aware of his surroundings. He, she, I don't know who the driver was. And she was like, well, just please don't honk because you could get shot. And I'm like, wow, that is crazy. So, but anyway, so when I called Highway Patrol, and then dispatch gave my phone number to the officer, and so he called and asked where I was, and I asked where he was, and he was about 5 miles ahead of me, just kind of standing by. And so he stayed on the phone with me, and I let him know, you know, just look for a big swift truck because that's who I drive for, with their flashers on, and it's just the white van right in front of me. Well, right before we got up to where the officer was, the van pulled off into like a truck parking area, rest area, or whatever. So I told the officer that, and he came on down there, but really there was nothing he could do, because if he doesn't witness the bad driving, there isn't really a whole lot he could do. I mean, even though I said, you know, if you need a statement of what I saw, I'm more than happy to do that. And if the driver was impaired or whatever. And yes, I've gotten more than one drunk driver arrested on my highways because, you know, you're putting me at risk, y'all, so I'm not going to tolerate that. So, anyway, so the officer did find him over in the rest area, but nothing he could do at that point. I was just like, well, you might want to check on him at least, because... So anyway, so then I turned around and came back to pick up my load, and so I go in the yard there and check in with the guard shack, and I go back to the empty lot in the back of their yard where you leave your empty trailers. And then I went and hooked up to my loaded trailer, and part of the, what we call pre-trip process on the loaded trailers, you just kind of, you know, you give it a walk around and look and make sure all the lights are working, and kick the tires, literally. Because if they're low on air or flat, kicking them is all you really need to do to determine there's an issue. And so I kicked the tire, and the biggest rat I have ever seen jumped off the tire onto the ground and ran right between my legs. Like cat-sized rat. I mean, it was huge. I mean, it was, I don't know, it was like an RUS. I was like, I didn't think rodents of unusual size existed, but apparently they do. Although I guess they have. I'm going to stamp this one on paper too first. I guess like down south they have some kind of river rat kind of thing that's humongous. I don't know. But anyway. So that was a little startling. And then last night, on my way back, coming back into Kansas City, right before we got to Kansas City, the interstate was shut down, and I got diverted off onto like a frontage road, like a side road. And when I got up to what the accident site, it was a cattle truck had tipped over. And so they were... Now, I'm a carnivore, and I'll eat a steak, no problem, but I'm also an animal lover, and that really upset me. I'm not going to go into details. It just really upset me. Now they did have, you know, they were moving the cows that survived to a new trailer, but they didn't all survive. And yes, I also recognize the irony that they were on their way to end their life anyway, but I know. I just, I'm an animal lover, but I also like my meat, so. I have a cousin who's vegetarian, vegan, but I don't know. I don't know that I could do it. I probably could, but anyway. So that was upsetting for me. I mean, but it's the same thing as like if I hit a deer. That always makes me sad, or any animal with my truck, you know. So, which we're kind of told to, you're supposed to try and stop safely if at all possible, or avoid it, but not swerve, because if you swerve, you can tip over, and, you know, that does more damage to the truck, more damage to the load, more damage to you, potentially. So you're not supposed to swerve, and it is really hard to fight that instinct when there's an animal running in front of you. It's really hard. So, yep, there's some little insights into my truck driving life. I feel like I over-inked that, but I'm going to go with it. It's my head in the shot, sorry. But anyway. Why does that look crooked? Because it's just, no, we're good. Perfume bottle. Although I don't know if I'm liking that one now that I'm stamped it out. I had another option. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I gotta grab another brick of clay anyway. I'm not gonna have enough. So, hang on, you guys. Be right back. Hang on. Hey, Garfield. My handsome boy. Okay. And then let me see if I can find the other perfume bottle that I had. Because I might just do both. If I can find it. There it is. The other one is just kind of a square bottle. No, I'm going to stick with what I have. So, anyway. I do feel like I over-inked it maybe, but I'm not sure. I was playing with ideas, guys, while I was setting up to do this. That I was like, well, there's going to be 3 sides. I've got 3 main clay colors, pink, yellow, and green. Maybe I'll do one of each color and have like one side be yellow, one side be green, one side be pink. And that might have worked, and it might have been a really good idea, but at this point my brain's kind of getting fried, and you know, I really like this color of pink, and I wanted to just kind of stick with what my original concept was. So these will be the center piece on each of the sides. And then there will be filler tiles around them. And then we've got the paper with the wood words on the other sides. So, yeah, I think it's going to be nice. I don't know why I'm so Maybe because it's the first one I've done for me, I'm really, like, overthinking it. And I know that I am. It's a bad habit of mine. Overthinking things, so... And then when I got back to our yard to drop the loaded trailer that I'd picked up, and Midnight and Mama both came out to see me, so I was underneath the other driver that feeds cats was off today, so his truck and trailer were parked at basically the feeding zone. And so I was going under the trailer. It wasn't completely dry under there because, you know, the rain was draining off the parking lot, but it was drier. But I didn't mess with dry food. I usually do dry food and wet food, but I didn't mess with the dry food because it was just going to get wet. And so, just put some cans of wet food out, but I picked each of them up and, like, just kind of wrapped them up in my arms in my sweatshirt and was using the sleeves of my sweatshirt to try and dry them off a little bit because they were both just sopping wet, poor things. Mama wasn't too thrilled with that. She was hissing at me. I was like, knock it off, it's for your own good. Even though that she was, you know, gonna get wet again, but anyway. So now I need to wash that sweatshirt because it's all wet and muddy and covered in cat hair of cats that are not mine. So I'm going to sneeze, you guys. I'm sorry. Nope, maybe not. Ah, don't you hate that? Anyway. But now I'm very careful about washing my hands really well, and like if, you know, like the sweatshirt that I wear to work, the only time it comes into the house is if I'm putting it straight in the washing machine, just because I'm really overly paranoid about passing on parasites or whatever to my boys. So, but today I brought it in and put it in the washing machine, and then I'm really, like, I wash my hands there before I even come home because I don't want to, you know, because, you know, even just like ringworm or bot flies, any kind of parasites, I just want to make sure I don't give them to my boys. So, because Garfield is about 10, but he is FIV positive, and so I worry about his immune system a little bit. And then, of course, Opie's 18 years old, almost 19. Although you probably couldn't tell that from the video if you watched the Quirky Cat boxing match video. He was being pretty spry, wasn't he? Smacking the crap out of Garfield. Poor guy. Poor Garfield. He was like, what? It was an empty box. And you know, I have empty boxes, like, all over my house. You know, I order a lot of stuff off Amazon. And, so, and, you know, they're cats. Cats like boxes. So, sorry, you guys. I have to bring this down here to where I can get one side cut straight, and then I can come back up here where you can see the rest. But anyway, but that particular box, Opie hides out in it all the time. Because, like, what he likes to do is when Garfield wanders by, he pops out and smacks him. Which is really mean of him. He basically plays two for flinching with Garfield all the time. Poor Garfield. So, and I've told the story of how Garfield came to be in my house in previous videos, but the short version is it was freezing out. I let him in with the intention of finding his owner. Couldn't find an owner. Tried to find a home for him. And had a home for him if I paid to get him neutered and get all his shots. And I did that. And then the person that was going to take him stopped answering my phone calls. So he spent, Garfield did, not the guy, about 3 months in my basement because Opie is like me, doesn't play well with others. And so it was a very slow introduction process, but eventually, you know, I mean, they don't like curl up together or anything, but they do play, chase each other, which makes me nervous. I'm always telling Opie to quit. He's going to break a hip, you know. So, my boys, they're so entertaining. Sorry, I had to see if I was straight. Am I straight? I don't know. Fading fast, you guys. It's about 3:15, so I'm going to get these in the oven and go down and have me a little quick bite to eat, and then I'm going to bed because I am fading fast. I almost didn't come in here tonight. I was quite comfortable when I got home, kicked back in the recliner, but I wasn't going to unless the cats got down, because I had one on each armrest, and then they got down, and so I was like, all right, I guess I'll go play in the craft room. All right, and there's the cameo. All right, so I'm going to bring them back into the shot here. If I just smudged one of them, I'm going to be very upset. Because I think I might have. We're going to see. All right, let's see. We're okay. I think I touched the top of that a little bit, but all right. Since I'm not going to bake anything else, let's spread these out a little bit. I really like how well souffle holds the tile shape. It really does a good job of maintaining its shape, how you cut it. So, all right, let's see. Can you see them all? There we go. All right, so yeah, the nightstand is going to be the phone, the clock, and the phonograph. Those are the nightstand. Perfume, corset, and the cameo will be for the dresser box. And then the desk is going to be the typewriter, the inkwell, and the book. So, all right, you guys, that's all I got for now. I'm going to get these in the oven, and I don't know what step I'll be doing next when you come back. We'll just see where I'm at. All right, you guys, that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching.